Hey, this is part one of our training session, academic training session. So what I'll just do is proceed to my desktop, whereby I'll be able to enlighten you more on today's activities. Like I said, my name is Kasan Kimani. I've been in this field for 5 years, and I feel that I have tips that can help you to uh, proliferate or improve your academic understanding. Uh, so without further ado, I'll go to the first page. As you can see from desktop, you have the course outline. We have the table of contents. On page 2 of this manual, we have about the author. This basically talks about the person who crafted this manual, and that would be me, of course. And the reason that I went to an extra length of crafting and gathering research materials to come up with this masterpiece is because I feel that there's a big difference between the academic skills that is taught in school and the academic skills that are needed out there. Whenever you get an assignment like, let's say, like an essay, write an essay about. There's so much that goes into making a masterpiece of an essay, just not like going out there and doing a composition of ideas. There has to be a logical flow, and because I don't want to be so much go into the ideas of academic writing, I'm just going to be very fast on this course outline so that at least you can get an idea of whatever you're going to be tackling today. So, page 3 talks about goals. That's the goals of academic writing. If on a snapshot, I could say that goals should be tied to, first of all, the secondary ideal, that is, you go to academics to get skills that can be employed uh, in the field, or you get into academics so that you can build an entrepreneurship base. Majority of people go to academics to get the first option, that is, get skills so that they can get absorbed in the job market. But for me, I feel that in today's world you have to be very versatile. Don't just go to school to gain the skills to end up in the job market, because the reason that I created this training piece, is that I felt that there are so many opportunities for graduates, college graduates, master's graduates, in a world that job opportunities are very limited. But let us not first of all concentrate to that. Let us first of all focus on why we need the skills first. Then after there, we can be able to now say, I need to go to the entrepreneurship field, or I need to go to the job market. After all, dreams are different, and you need to focus on what you think is right for you, because no one is going to come and direct your path. I believe in the power of self-direction. So, what is academic writing? Sorry. I think the other one, it should be course outline. That is 6. By the course outline, I mean those are the basics or the preferences that we should consider ourselves on this manual. Number 9, which is part of the course outline, talks about what is academic writing. There are so many types of writing out there. There is content writing, there is blog writing, there is persuasive writing, there is, it depends. There is scientific writing, there is non-scientific writing. So, whenever we talk about academic writing, well, I would say that academic writing is a writing skill that is specifically fit for a certain industry or for a certain field. Most of these days, most of academic writing is focused on imparting knowledge, in academia. Um, and with that comes page 11, which talks about academic writing characteristics. So if we say that we are going to focus on a certain segment in a bigger, universe, let me just universe for the sake of explaining, then the idea that academic writing must be different from other fields so that it can be differentiated comes into focus. Um, then there is the principles of academic writing. So, like, I think the world is ruled by canons. By canons, I mean there are those rules that guide everything that exists in the sun. I don't want to be too technical about this, but I'm saying, now, if you're a doctor, there are certain things that you have to follow for you to be a medic. For you, an academic writer, there are certain principles that you need to follow so that you can, be integrated in that academic field. For instance, let me give an example. if you're into academic writing, research must be part and parcel of your experiences, because there is no way we are going to say I came up with this theory without looking at available evidence. I don't want to be technical at this point of view, but I'm just giving you a sneak or a peek view of what you should expect in academic writing. Now, if I am a professor in biology and I wanted to, let's say, assume, I wanted to find out why is it that people, let me use the example, people in the higher parts of Kenya, that is like, the Rift Valley of Kenya are good runners than other other people in a certain parts of Kenya. Now, if I'm a writer, I have to come up with a theory and say that these people maybe are predisposed to running because they have better genes, or maybe acclimatized to higher conditions than those people in other coast. So let me just not go into this so much because you're going to find it later. And then we have what we call the baseline of academic writing skills. Baseline means like, fine, if I want to be an academic writer and I want to be so good at my art, what is the threshold that I have to infuse into my writing so that I am, and by all standards, I can deliver quality. And then there's also all types of academic writing. That is on page 15. There's medical type of writing, there is scientific type of writing, there is biological type of writing, there is literature, there is mathematical type of writing. All these types of writing use different terminologies, different tools, different position methods. Then after there's page 16, which talks about the different types of writing. There's an analytical writing. As in, if you're a scientific writer, you have to be analytical. You don't have to, like go into the details and say, this is A, this is B, and this is C. What the difference is between A, B, and C? This is idea A, idea B, and idea C. So what is the outlying differences between these three? So, and then there is essays. For me, essays, I think they're broad. You can write an essay on anything. You can write an essay on the best day of my life. You can write an essay on medicine. You can write an essay on literature. You can just write anything. And then there is research papers. The research papers are a bit, more technical, more detailed. And most of these research papers are used to as gauging standards for undergraduates or graduates. I could go on and on. There's a difference between the essays and the traditional studies, and all of these differences are found in this manual. That is why I've said, when I started out as the author, I realized that there's so much gap between what is offered in the education sector and what students or people interested in this field, think and understand about this whole concept. So I went out and gathered all data and made it, compressed it, and came with a very simplified understanding of what academic writing is all about. There's number 19, format of academic writing. I have given examples like example 4, example 5, and with format of academic writing, excuse me, I'm so much concerned on sorry, I'm so much concerned on. Let me take a glass of water. I'm so much concerned on the general or accepted ways of writing papers on basics. I don't want to go into the details, but if I handed you an assignment and I wanted you to complete it, there is 3 things or 4 that I want and expect on your paper. First of all, there's the introduction part. In this part, you're going to introduce your paper. For example, assuming I wanted to talk about job experience. Now, assuming that I don't know what job experience is, I want you to, tell me what job experience in really concise words. Job experience is blah blah blah. It is the, I would say like job experience is whereby an individual is supposed to get a certain skill set so as to enable him to perform X and Y Z. It could be different. So, but that is the introduction, and there are so many ways of giving that introduction. I'll cover that in other sections. And then there is a body. The body is whereby you explore the different types of the different ideas, not body, sorry, the different ideas that are given in that essay. For example, if I go back to my original idea, job experience, now I need to give idea 1. Why is job experience important? Idea 1, it's important because you are able to actually give you actually supposed to you actually supposed to integrate your academic knowledge and whatever is going in the field. Another idea would be it is important that job experience give you an advantage, a competitive advantage edge over others. That kind of scenario. Maybe not so much dwell on that one. And then there is the conclusion part. Now, after you have talked about the different views that have been put on research, remember, like I said, academic writing is all about synthesizing and validating and critiquing. By critique means that you look at different people, what they're saying about a different idea, and then you give your input on it. You can either validate. By validate means these people are right. Like job experience is important because it gives you a competitive edge over others. But some people would say job experience is not as much as important because you don't need job experience. Like Tesla right now is really hiring, and when Tesla is hiring, it doesn't look at your grade. It just says if you have a focused mindset and if you're an entrepreneur and you can give it all your best, come, we are offering. So you see, there's a difference between what the literature says and there's a difference between what the world is saying, the practice. So if you can be able to integrate the same, validate or collaborate or disagree, critique in your own words, that means at the end of the day, we can see that this person is really knows what he's doing. He's into that field, he's an expert. That is all about academic writing, is the ability to be able to synthesize what is given and what is happening and give recommendations, you see. So not going so much into that, then that person with the conclusion. And by the conclusion, I mean you have to give an end viewpoint of your ideas. So the way I do it, I think like 90% of my time, I'm always like, I agree that other A or other B said that. They say that job experience is good for job progression, it's good for building theory. I also agree that other B said that job experience is not really important for job progression and that type of ideology. But as an informed author, I have to harmonize between what A and B are saying. I have to look at both types of views. By both types of view, I mean I have to look at this person is vouching for and this person is disagreeing to. There's polarity. By polarity means they're different and opposing views. But for me, whenever I'm concluding people, I'm like, yes, this person said A and this person said B, but I also think there's a gap. There's a gap to evaluate more evidence. The world is constantly evolving, and I know that this is a bit technical, and I'm so sorry to bring this into technicality, but the idea would be the idea of academics is to discover new knowledge. That is like the most basic idea of academics. It's not even to get PhDs. It's not even about to get the accolades. More of getting. It's about building things. So for me, I'm always like, A said this, B said this, but I think there's more to it than we are saying. So let's just give academic theory, and I'm going to explain it in a bit. So let me just leave it at there because I know this both for amateurs and both for the accomplished one. And it's the writing process. You just don't wake up one day and write. It's a process, just like you feed a baby from 0 months to 9 months to 2 years. From baby food to solid food to you understand it's a process. So when you talk about the writing process, you can see that there's the doing the research. By doing research, it's going to Google and other sites. There's so many sites out there. There's Bing, there is Google, there is Scientific Hub. And there's so many sites that you can get the material that you need to use to prove or disapprove your opinion. But I would first of all in this juncture appreciate the work that Google Scholar is doing. I'm always advising my students to use Google Scholar. Google Scholar is just, far above. It has tons and tons, thousands and thousands of available materials. And after you're done writing your paper, then you need to revise. Why do you need to revise? Because you might have you've got some facts wrong. You might have gotten some ideas that are newer or no more novel than what you're doing. For example, assume you're talking about your experience and someone 1980, whereby the market was really ripe. Even in our country, the market was really ripe for graduates, whereby the government will just like absorb you in without you have a degree, come, please work for us. But now it is 2021. Nobody gives a damn about your degree. Like I have a degree, but nobody gives a damn about my degree. That's why I'm here. So the idea would be I could revise knowledge to the point that I feel that this knowledge is outdated. This author was 2010. New methodologies, new thinking has come into being. So let me, depreciate his thinking and let me adopt a new thinking. So that is why you need to revise. And then you need to fix it. By fixing means, these are errors. Let me fix them. Let me, it could be grammatical fixing. Grammatical fixing, theoretical fixing. And then after that, you do what you call the revise it again. The revise it again, which is really important because by revising again, you're saying, I know that I did this. I know this seems right, but I also think that I'm human and I also need to. So that is why the idea of an editor comes in, or your supervisor. Like the supervisor going telling you got this concept wrong. It's not like you're out of the topic, but this concept is a bit wrong to whatever you're explaining. See that kind of stuff. And then you have the page 48, which talks about referring styles. And I think this is the most important bit of any academic writing. By referencing style, you're saying that every school or every institution has its own referencing style. There are so many referencing styles. By referencing, you're saying that yes, this is not my idea. This is another person's idea. And because I want to act ethical. By ethical means I don't want to steal his ideas and make them my own. I have to reference them. Like APA, it's a referencing style that was adopted by the American Psychological Association, which says that now if this idea belongs to Sigmund Freud, then I have to credit Sigmund Freud. If this idea belongs to Karl Marx, like the Karl Marx theory, I think it's called the Marxist theory. Let me not get it for because I'm assuming everyone is a beginner at this. But the idea would be if I reference right, I am giving credit to the author, and then when I write my paper, I'll also be given credit. It's just 100% ethical. It's a human sense thing to do. And then there's the plagiarism. Plagiarism is a really, I don't know how to put it, toxic or a really important, a really toxic element in academic writing. No, like you're going to get your grades withdrawn if you're not, if you don't take care of plagiarism. Plagiarism whereby you take your ideas as your own. That is why you have the referring styles that I have already introduced. So in my paper or in my manual, I'll be talking about 5 ways to avoid plagiarism and the types of plagiarism that are there, and then how to cite, and then formatting cited material, the basics, So I don't want to make this really controversial at this particular moment, but in academic writing, you are going to be researching, and by researching, you says me going to be evaluating idea one from other one or institution one, idea two from this other person, and this person. So these are not your original materials. If they're not your original materials, that means you have to credit the author. You see, and there's so many ways. There's so many ways you can credit, and they are different. The proponents of different citation styles came up with different ideas to propagate this idea. But the whole idea is attributing source and evidence of work to the rightful order and saying that they said this, and that is why this another person said this, and that is why I'm either agreeing or disagreeing. So you can see there's the PAA citation style, the MLA, the Chicago, the Harvard. There's so many. And then when I'm finishing the introduction part, there is what we call the tools of the industry. There's the Grammarly, there's the Turnitin, the word processor. So like we said, let me give you a short allegory or an allusion of what academic writing entails in relation to basic life. Now, if I am a farmer, the most basic tool that I need is a hoe, like HOE, not, like a hoe, and a jembe. Jembe is like, or something that is going, like something I took to the shamba to dig, assuming like I'm a subsistence farmer. So in academic writing, there are those tools that every writer should have. First of all is this tool that they call Grammarly. Grammar is supposed to check your grammar effervescence. No, let me not use that word. Grammar is supposed to check your grammar competence. For example, are you good in tenses, past tense, present tense, continuous tense? Are you coherent enough? And you can only be coherent or make meaningful sentences if you're good in grammar. Then there is this other called the Turnitin. It's true that you might get another person's idea, but were you able and implicit enough to rearrange that idea into what we would call a meaningful sentences? Like without actually copying this person's copying this person's ideas. And then there's the word processors. There is the word, there's whatever. So after that, I'm also going to show a dictionary website that you can use to use a dictionary website that you can use to actually improve your grammar. I mean, improve your academic prospects. And with that, the last is a conclusion. The conclusion of the whole idea of academic writing, and hoping you that you're going to be the best that you can ever be. But remember, it's all about small steps. Small steps are going to make you into the best writer or academic practitioner or academic theorist or academic policymaker ever. Good luck, and hope you're going to be there for our next session, part 2. Thank you.